Welcome back to the channel. My name is Douglas, and in today's MPC Key 37 quick tip, we're going to be talking about the difference between a project, a sequence, a track, and a program. So these four things are really what make up a song as we're recording in the MPC Key 37. And it's helpful to know the distinction or the difference between these four things. So maybe we'll put together just a quick 3-track live loop beat, just so you can kind of see the difference between these four things. So a project, let's talk about that first. This is your whole song. This is all of what we're recording and doing is stored to a project. So we're just gonna tap on empty project. You could load up a project template, but we're just gonna bring up an empty project and come over to our main view by clicking the main button here. Now, again, this project is our song essentially, and all of our tracks and sounds and changes and everything we're doing to record this song, when we save it, is storing it or saving it to a project. We could then take that project over to our computer and use that in maybe the MPC2 software to continue to mix and record and manipulate our song. And as we look at this main view here, we have 3 sections: sequence, track, and program. Now let's talk about sequences here for a minute. So the sequences, think of these as maybe the different segments of your song, your intro, your verse, your chorus. Those might all be different sequences. Our tracks sit within those sequences, and the track is where all the notes we're playing and effects and things like that are stored. Those are stored on your track level. And now if you want to hear anything that you're recording, the notes you're recording on the track, you need to associate that track with a program. Now there's different types of tracks. So we have a drum track, we have a plugin track, and in either of those cases, if it's a drum track, we need to associate a drum program with this track in order to hear anything. Because if I just played these pads, there's no sound. But if I come in here and I choose a drum program to put on this track, let's just go with maybe Chill 5. Now, we have sound tied to or associated to our track. So track 1, let's just have that be the drums. And let's come over to track 2 and change this to a plugin type track. Now by default, plugin tracks are associated to just this plugin 1 plugin program, which is the almighty from the Hype plugin. We could go change that. We could double tap stop to kill that effect or the sustaining sound. Let's come over to sounds and let's just go to the Mini D plugin, synth, and let's just grab, I don't know, something here. And then we can come over here. So now track 2, which is associated to this lazy synth brass from the Mini D plugin. And if we move back to track 1, and then let's just go over to track 3 and let's change this again to a plugin track. And let's go into sounds and let's just grab a bass line. Now, one thing you'll notice is it's popped up with this and says this program's used in 2 tracks. If you change the sound here, it's going to change it in the other track. I'm going to cancel this and we're going to go back to our main view and tap this little plus icon, which is going to, I accidentally tapped it twice. That's going to add a new plugin program. So think of this association. Project sits at the top. It's where everything is stored to. Underneath that, we have our sequences, which are our segments of the song. And then in each sequence, we have a number of tracks. Those tracks are associated to a drum program or a plugin program in order to hear the sound or have a sound source for that track. And then those programs, the plugin programs, can be associated to more than one track. So we could have our drum track and separate the kick, the snare, and have different tracks so we could treat those differently, but all associated to the same drum program. Now in the MPC Key 37, you're allowed to have 8 plugin programs at a time. Now you could use those on many different tracks. You could have 16 tracks, but as long as those tracks are only associated to those 8 plugin programs. We can also have a bit of uniqueness within our sequences. So let's say in our intro, we want to have a couple of instruments, and then in our verse, we want to have those same instruments and a couple of additional ones. And then our chorus, maybe we don't have an instrument from our intro, but we have some other instruments to build out a more full chorus. So the way that the MPC Key 37 works and the way that the sequences, tracks, and plugin programs work is your plugin program always defines the sound. You're only allowed 8 of those, and anywhere that plugin program is associated in a track, in any of your sequences, that's the sound source. So let's say in the intro, verse 1, and chorus, I have this drum program. And I change the sound, that drum program sound, it's going to change it anywhere it's associated to a track in any of my sequences. So hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. But let's go in here and just pick a bass sound. We're going to octave down. Let's go into our reso here. And let's just do a little live recording. So we have sequence 1, and we've got 3 tracks here. Let's start with the drums. I'm just going to tap on record, play start. We're going to do a little live beat recording here.